Hi, I am Kajer on two wheels and I am at Honda Linea to test drive the Honda Forza 300, the new one. So this is the Forza 300, and man, I should have shown this turned on the Portuguese channel, because these presence lights or these indicators that the bike is on are just absolutely gorgeous. So front to back, 14-inch rim at the front, 15 at the rear. For scooters this is important. 120 width at the front, 140 at the rear. Absolutely normal suspension. In fact, I'm going to peek over and you can see that the suspension ends right here, so it's an absolutely standard scooter suspension. Disc brake with ABS front and rear. Integrated indicators on the mirror mounted on the frame. I much prefer this instead of mirrors here on the handlebars. I think it looks cooler, it gives better visibility. This bike just looks freaking awesome. It's a nice looking scooter, isn't it? You have these nicely integrated pillion foot pegs. You have central center stand. These big handles for the pillion. You see these things? These are for mounting of a top case. At least in Portugal there is a version of this, factory version, that already comes with a top case, which is way cheaper than mounting a top case afterwards, as in 50% cheaper. This costs 5,800 euros. So it's also one of the cheapest 300cc scooters, which is awesome. I think it's one of the cheapest. Okay. Specs here, although I might not be able to track it correctly because my gloves are black, but well, I'll do what I can. Okay, so let's go on to the practicality aspect of it. Practicality aspect number 1, keyless system, which is freaking awesome. Practicality number 2, central locking. No, I'm not joking. Steering's locked, so is this cubby hole. Steering is unlocked, so is this cubby hole. Awesome. Okay, let's open the seat. Obviously steering's locked, so is the seat locked. It's open. I didn't hear the beep. So you've got a seat. I'm going to show it from this side, because as you can see you have a big cubby hole here. You have a small separator here. That's one helmet here, 2 helmets, and you'll have room for your gloves, and for, say, here you could easily fit a waterproof gear. Those waterproof overalls, those really thin ones, which are just a bit of plastic or oily or Gore-Tex, they fit here easily, or here. So this is a very well thought out underseat storage compartment, so very practical. Let's go on to the machine itself. Super light, by the way. Honda made it lighter at 180 kilograms, which is very light indeed for a 300. And it shortened the wheelbase so it will be more agile, but we'll check that out later. You have a billion buttons here. High beams, low beams. You have a little trigger here for on off of the traction control. Yes, it's a 300 with traction control. You ride this in the rain, you might be happy with it. This little button is very cool, look. It is an electrically adjustable windscreen. How cool is that? Info A changes the information on the, damn it, on the top one, where you have trip A and trip B, and you have average consumption, elapsed time, and average consumption for the other one. I've reset the average consumption for trip B. Let's see if I don't forget to look at it at the end. You have the range, which is now 59 kilometers, air temperature 17 degrees, and voltage 12.2. Let's see how this rides. Sounds just like any 300cc scooter, to be honest, and mirror is a bit weird for me. Mirror is very nice. The mirror is very nice. I can see everything. I could park it facing away from a drive-through theater and watch the movie. Here it is, the test track. Let's see how this performs here. We're going to do a way up and a way down. Or just up. No, just up. Whoa, water here. That was unexpected. Okay, I can go faster. I already went down, as you can imagine, on this. And on the way down I felt that it leans nice, corners nicely, it's stable. But at some point the bike is telling me, that's enough. It's about this leanage. After this, it's like the tire is going, not that much more. Test drive probably. Or just a buddy filming himself on some leanage. It's like, this is about as much as it wants to go. At this I'm feeling uncomfortable. But I'm going to push it a bit more, because I think there's a bit more performance on this, or maybe not, because well, this is still 5,800 euros and I don't feel like buying this one. You know how it is, you crash, you buy. Yeah, that's about as much as it wants to do. Will it do more? Yes, but the feel I have is it's quite likely related to the tire. I've also noticed at high speeds, in some high speed corners I did for the Portuguese video, you can go check it out if you want, there is some wobbliness at high speeds, but it's like this. If you're going at highway speeds on a highway, there will be no issue whatsoever. None. But if you're going highway speeds on this kind of road, you will have issues, because the suspension can't cope with the undulations and the bumps that these roads always have. And the bike will just go a bit wobbly. It's like the suspension goes over a bump, and then the dampers don't have time to dampen the suspension movement before the next bump, and so you hit the next bump and the suspension is still moving, which increases the amount of movement, and then you hit the other bump afterward. Someone got hurt there, someone crashed over there, damn it. Oh man, don't cut corners. And so that increases the movement again, and so it just goes worse and worse and worse, and you'll have to back off slightly. But I'm talking about 120 kph, 110 kph over. But at that speed you can lean it over and it will not go all wobbly and twisty and things. It'll stay put. The suspension itself just can't cope with it, which on the face of it is normal. This is a 300cc city scooter. It's a luxurious 300cc city scooter with a price tag to match. And price tag to match means it is not a sports scooter. If it was a sports scooter, it would have a bigger engine, better suspension, it would be called a T-Max, and it would cost over 1,100 euros. Over 11,000 euros, okay? So that's why it has these. The competition also has these issues, at least the competition I tried. I might be mistaken, it might be something on this price range which is miles better suspension wise, but I kinda doubt it because money is limited. Except this bike was not made for that. Okay, this bike is clearly made to go on those roads, those wide open roads over there, at a slower pace. You're not supposed to do it at over highway speeds. You're supposed to do it at 90, 100, and that's about it. You're not supposed to be doing it like 130, 140, going into the bends, braking hard, and then throwing the bike into the bend and accelerating out. You can do that if there are no bumps. If there are bumps, you cannot, because the bike is not clearly made for that, and it's not supposed to be made for that. You want that, you buy a sports bike or a sports scooter, and you pay double or triple. So it's perfectly normal. It is very clearly tuned for this, for these speeds, these roads. Here it's perfectly comfortable. The mix of, I think, I might be wrong, but I think it has a relatively stiff spring and relatively soft dampers. That's why it moves along around for such a long time. And that's why it goes all wobbly at high speeds, and that's why it's so nice at low speeds, because the stiff springs shoot the bump into you. I can feel every single bump I'm going over, which gives me good feedback from the roads, and the dampers make this not too jolty. Okay, they dampen softly, so yeah. But then at high speeds this kind of breaks down, so there's an in-between. It's a tuning issue. This one's clearly tuned for low speeds, average speeds, not low speeds, for average speeds in town, and the occasional faster speed romp or highways. On highways you don't have issues with bumps because there are supposed to be no bumps on the highways, so it's fine actually. It's just a thing. I might be wrong though, okay? Don't take just my word for it, go try it out. And here was where the competition lost it, on this particular corner right here. You're not going, I'm going, sorry. I need the speed. Very sorry about this, but nope, it's fine, and I'm going even faster. But I felt some wobbliness there. Guess where? On the bump. On that bump, I felt it. It didn't move actually. Hang on. Important thing. I felt the front going like this, but it didn't actually move. The competition moved a lot. You could actually see the bike going like this. You can see the handlebar moving. This one, nope. Did that like a champ. It hit the bump and it lost a bit. It was like, oh shoot, okay, I'm fine, good, I'm cool. Just while it resets and copes with the bump that there's a small problem. Other than that, it's a fine bike. Actually, scratch, I'm going to say it's actually a great bike. For this price, and 5,800 euros is money, okay? You can almost buy MT-07 with that money, but who buys an MT-07 is not going to buy this one, so they're not comparable markets. So I'm comparing with the other scooters I've tried, and for this price it's actually quite a good deal. I feel like this is a good deal. You know why? Because you have good performance, not excellent, not fantastic performance, but very good performance. It's excellent in town, very good on open roads, and very good on highways, or excellent on highways if there aren't too many bumps on the way. For a relatively cheap price, it's cheaper than most of the competition, and you have all the luxury. You have a huge cubbyhole, you have a keyless system, you have a top case which will also be keyless if you buy it from the factory, I think, but I'm 99% sure it's like that. Check out with your Honda dealer. You have a lot of gizmos. You have a super complete onboard computer. You have oil changes every 12,000 kilometers, which is the same as the Honda NC700, which is a mind-bogglingly huge number. My Tracer does it every 10,000 kilometers. It's like 1,000 miles more. 10,000 kilometers, what, 8,000 miles or so? I think, don't know, math is on screen. So you get a lot of money for the buck. You get a lot of stuff for the buck. And the disadvantages are just design decisions. They're not actual problems. They're like, yeah, it's a city scooter. What the hell were you expecting? Were you expecting it to bake cakes for you? No. Were you expecting to do off-road? No. You bought this one to do one thing, and it does that thing marvelously. It is a great 300cc scooter. 25 horsepower, 180 kilograms, light, speedy. It's a just enough bike, except for the luxury. It's very well built and it feels very luxurious, but it's just fast enough, it corners just well enough, it brakes, well, scratch that, very well. It's a great little bike. I like it quite a lot.